Goals. We're right around that time of the year. Setting goals is one thing. It's a little bit like sitting down. So going for your goals is a step beyond. Actualizing your goals is the goal. Now, initially I used to think that a goal had to do with achieving something, getting something, and all of that is wonderful. Yet more and more, I personally have become interested in setting very high aims towards fine-tuning, changing aspects of my behavior. Now, for anything to really grow, for anything to really evolve, we need a starting point. And it's not easy to deal with the invisible. Emotions, thoughts, even behavior. Sure, there's an aspect of the behavior that is demonstrated in the world. It's easy to see the behavior of other people unless we're being filmed and we watch it 24/7. We're a little bit unaware sometimes of our behavior. And we're so distracted by sounds on the outside, by sights, and that's minimal. People, things, places, that we could remain very dormant to what's really going on with ourselves. Socrates once said, I paraphrase, that the more he knew, the more he became aware that he didn't know. And the key is to become very interested in what we don't know. I'll give you an example that's simple, may turn off some, but in finances, those who really thrive with finances, they are not so much interested in how much money they have, they're more interested in the money they don't yet have to welcome that money in. Silly example, I know. The aim is big. So now let's get real, let's get raw. Part of the foundation, and this is really, I personally find it helping me to make more headways actually right now, currently, than I have probably my entire life. To be willing to look at my own layers of bullshit. Now, this could be done in three different ways. A person could focus only on that and accuse themselves, and it would not be a healthy thing. A person could recognize it, but not do much about it and kind of be in between, admit to some degree, but also deny a little bit, accept to some degree, but also fight a little bit. Or a person could go, it's normal. It's the key to evolution. Nothing wrong with what was. Side note, in the study of neurolinguistic programming, one of the initial presupposition was the understanding that no matter how later on we may realize it was messed up what we did or somebody else did, we as human tend to always do the best with what we know at the time. Brings us back to the old story. I was recently in San Francisco, and in the days when Napoleon Hill made it trendy to study success, and he met with 100 of the most successful people at the time. I'm sure you heard about it or read Think and Grow Rich, the classic. There was another gentleman by the name of Dale Carnegie, and Dale Carnegie decided to also study a complete failure. He was granted access to Al Capone in Alcatraz. His conclusion was that in the mind of Al Capone had not done anything wrong. Now, in the eyes of the people the families of the people that Al Capone had killed or through Al Capone had been killed, it would make no sense to think, well, for him, it wasn't a bad thing. But the way he organized his thinking, at no point there was a friction or a contradiction. He had all the reasons to justify. So that teaches us that we are capable of justifying. So, and that we always did our best with what we had, but if we stay with that, then we're no longer doing our best, because we need to be willing to evolve. To be willing to evolve, if as an only point of reference, we have a little bit of a vague fantasy of what we would like to be, we're semi-aware of what bothers us, and we have a constant remembering of where we have been and what we have done before, there is not much room to grow. So to grow, we need to be willing to know that we probably don't know all the opportunities for growth at a personal level, at a social level, and at a global level also. Now, that leads me, and I hope to open the floor to questions, to the next get real, get raw, say it like it is. Hey, it doesn't matter who we are. If you are watching this now or at some point, and you cannot relate to what I'm going to say, either you're in major denial or you have found secrets that I'm completely unaware of. Even if a person lived remotely, there's not a day, some days more minimally, some days more mildly, and some days truly greatly, when at some point or another, something is going to bother us. It might be a person or people and their behavior. It may be something we have to do, or we're trying to do it and it's not going through. It might be the environment, the weather, a location, maybe an actual situation. It might be something happening in the world or in our own world. It might be our own thinking, emotions, or something of a physical nature. Like, I'm off today. So if you could say, I go morning to evening and my chunk of sleeping, impeccable. You're either aiming too low, in denial, or you have found something that I'm unaware of. But here's what I have found. I have found that, and I was blessed in helping so many people throughout the years and being constantly presented by a variety of situations that to the individual seems like it's unique, but after a while, I could kind of connect the dots and be helped by higher guidance, which I always like to give credit to, because I didn't create my nose, I didn't create my eyes, and I'm not the one who's breathing through my lungs right now, okay? And I'm here talking to you guys, but I did not create computers and live streams. Yeah, I'm sure people contributed to that, but whatever is at the core of what makes that possible, it's not those people. They didn't find elements on other planets, or I didn't create the planet. So it makes me sufficiently aware to go that all those great ideas I could rush into thinking, today I was thinking, but I like Osho, how can you honor the creator without honoring the creation? How can you honor the creation without honoring the creator? That was a side note, but I like to be clear with that at this point in my career and my journey and my life. And I'm probably still as blind as can be, but I'd like to see a little more beyond what I used to see and what most can see, so I can shine a little light and help a couple people, hopefully, along the way, or more, but at least wherever a difference can be made. So let's make a difference for you guys tonight. Of course, many of you come to this because you're a member of my pickup monthly program called Aphrodite Sprints, which is way above and beyond pickup, or you heard of me from pickup, or you're watching it after on my YouTube channel or something. Yet, so I give you the option to either apply that to your pickup or apply that to any aspects of your life. All right? So we're going to create a little system. You're welcome to write it down. It'd be a wonderful thing. But why don't we talk about it a little bit, and then I sum it up so we have a solid system, and then we'll open the floor for questions and in any direction. Allow me to grab a quick sip right now. Pause for a second. So it's nothing probably that you haven't thought of at some point. It's nothing that others haven't made some headways. We had a streaming with Hypnotica yesterday, and I had not followed what he had been doing in a while, and we had not gathered in a while. It was so interesting to see the common evolution. So it's not easy to state what is not common yet. So I'll do my best. Play along, open your mind, be mindful that the kind of learning where you hear what you thought you were going to hear is just repetition. So if you hear something and you go, beyond, either I never thought of it that way, or what's he saying? That to me is a good sign. That to me, and I like to dig deeper. I don't like to compare it too quickly or at all. I don't like to compare because I miss out on it. I don't like to recognize it right away because my recognition becomes a limitation. I do my best, almost like a meditation, when I study personally, to go back to slow down. What are they really saying? Even if you don't understand it, and don't translate. Don't bring again your own version. You already have your own version. It's like somebody's opening their wallet and they go, $100. It'd be foolish to go, I have $100 too. They go $200, and you don't know how much they're gonna give you. But if you, oh yeah, I remember one day I used to have $200. Oh, what you're doing right here is counting your money. Shh, let's see what happens. Okay, take it in, take it in, take it in. So here's the system. Number one, admitting that whether we like it or not, a day will not go by, and sometimes it seems like a couple of minutes, without some motion fluctuation within and without that starts to create subtle or strong agitation. Example of pickup, guy starts to, sometimes it could be as early as, I should do pickup today. Yeah, but I don't really feel like it. But I should. And you caught into that, I should, but, and it's driving you crazy in the back of your mind. Okay. Maybe you decide to, you're already in the world, you just happen to be there, and you see a girl and she has an effect on you, and you do want to say something, and either you don't say anything and you regret it afterwards, you beat yourself up, or you say something and it doesn't go really far, or you realize afterwards you could have said something else. Sorry, and those are just like a few really, really silly, simple examples. It's another challenge in learning. It'd be impossible to state and personalize all the possible examples where it applies. So we give a few gross generalizations that you probably generalize even more in your own mind. I do the same too, you know. If I hear like somebody talk about depression, in my own mind, I'm quickly going to imagine somebody laying in a bed and the curtains are closed and they've been there, they're not shaved. It's been 3 weeks, okay? When maybe they're talking about a subtle decrease of inspiration towards your aspiration. A subtle decrease of inspiration towards your aspiration. You had started with a little more hope, and now it's kind of fading just a touch. So there's a repression, and it's depressing a little bit. Didn't think of it. Let me check. All right. 3 weeks ago, I came back at the gym strong. Okay. Was I more excited today? Do I feel like it? Okay, yeah, I gotta watch out. Okay, so my own journey, it wasn't 3 weeks ago. It was about 3 months ago, I think, or 2 months. When you do something great, sometimes time passes. And what thinking the way I just demonstrated right now gave me personally is I'm not far from a slight little decrease. I don't want that. I want an increase 360, not just push more. Sometimes pushing is foolish. Okay, I can find an even greater rhythm. I can find some even greater exercises. I can enjoy them even more. I can be even more present in them. I can keep even greater steadiness. I can keep track. Lord knows. Okay, so first part of our system, we admit that, okay, indeed, I'm not going to be like most people out there. Hi, how are you? Hi, or hi, how are you? Oh, I'm okay. Today, I asked this guy at the coffee store, how are you? And he was like, I'm okay. I thought, like, you're more than okay. Or like, go talk to someone. Don't fucking show up at work. And the way you say it, I could not imagine you functioning. So it's like denial. It's not, how are you really? What's going on? So know that it's going to be those fluctuations. And the sooner we're aware of that and we admit that, the less likely we are to be bothered later on down the road. See, if a guy was hoping that the girl that he kissed at the nightclub was going to go home with him and she doesn't, and then suddenly he goes like, oh, I felt weird. Or out of nowhere, he's talking to a girl and some guy arrives and the guy's a little more aggressive than he is, and the guy ends up like kind of either ruining the interaction or leaving with the girl. And in that moment, the guy collapses. That is not in that moment that the collapse takes place. That is the result of the erosion through each day because of the known admission that, okay, truth is, if I'm honest with myself, I'm going to be bothered a little bit. I'm going to hope again, this. And so it's not easy to deal with people. Okay. So that's our first layer. Now, the second thing is to begin to recognize this as one chunk instead of all those, oh, that person bothered me. People are with this and that. Oh, I don't like it. Then if you individualize, it's impossible to micromanage it. And you do not recognize that it's all of the same making. And then we tend to think that it's the situation or the person. We want to bring it to that level of awareness that it's really a habitual response. And then our fourth layer will be to flip that habitual response into something greater that serves us, so we're not the victim of it, but we benefit from it. And we cannot change the world, we cannot change women, we cannot change people, but we can change how we perceive it all. So it's a change in perception. How are we doing so far? Following everybody? Enjoying it? Some value? To make this even more tangible, practical, and helpful, it would be great if you can start to think of a moment in time when you start to be bothered, and you pick one area, or even today, like I was at the store and this person was really slow in front of me, and they were looking into their wallet, and I was carrying quite a few items, and my initial tendency would have been to be a bit bothered by that and to lock in a touch and to start to criticize them in my head. And then if they had a weird response, if I said, can I quickly put my stuff? And they go like, what? Then it could have gone weird. But instead, I put into practice what I'm going to restate one more time, and then we open it for questions. The more interactive it becomes, the further we can take this, okay? Make it a habit. I see here names of very dedicated students of life, or in your own ways, in your business, in your art, in your craft. I did an interview where I interviewed in preparation of EC2, Brian Casella, and we could quickly observe the level of elevation by tossing intelligent questions, by creating a dynamic, okay? So avoid just watching and listening. Interact, you will get more. I will be able to give more. Everybody will get more. But you don't have to, but it's a great protocol. I'm not even saying do that tonight. What I'm saying in general, recognize that as one of the characteristics of those who learn fast. And a lot of what we have depends on how quickly we learn, how quickly we adapt, how quickly we take on new habits. Some people drag their feet. I had a gentleman at a recent boot camp shows up with the same jacket. Then 5 years ago, I told him the jacket's got to go. Okay, that's slow. 5 years for one realization. Wow. 2 more realization, it would be 15 years. No. In whatever you have picked, know that it's not a problem. It's not abnormal. It's the territory, the media, advertisers, stories, movies, which are all good. It's not an either or, but everything has a plus and a minus. One of the minus is that they almost get us, or have gotten us, addicted to that idea that, oh, I want what's good, I don't want what's bad. And it's splitting our reality, when in the bigger picture, there's no need to split. It's a dynamic, and you play with the dynamic. So little by little, we don't realize, but we become addicted to the idea that every day should be a walk in the park, and then that everybody should treat us the way we want to be treated, with a high level of respect. They should all be impeccable, and they should all kind of fit into our own plan and rhythm and so on. And the moment that comes short by that much, we start to get all irritated, as if it's abnormal, and we don't want to deal with the feelings on the inside. So we start to point fingers, and then it's exhausting. And because we're survivors and we're alive, there's a force within us, then we push again, and we give it one more shot, and we give it one more shot, and everybody's about to do that. Yeah, 2019, and like a wimpy erection. By the time tax season comes, by the time spring, oh, I'm busy, and so on. The mindset's got to change. It's not us, it's the mindset. Evolution of consciousness, a higher level of consciousness that takes care of what we thought was a problem, because we're perceiving in a new, more highly evolved way. If we ever imagine evolved being, truly evolved being, not aliens that have like greater military power than we have on this planet, or more evil forces. No, truly evolved. If you think, okay, you know someone who's a little stuck up, then you know someone who's a little more open-minded, okay? And then you know a guy who's like really like, and she did that. Where are we gonna go? And then you know a guy goes, hey, how are you? Yeah, all right, I'll be there. Events, cool, okay? Or then you know someone who would very rapidly like go like, why are you doing this? And somebody goes, hey, what's going on? So it demonstrates a little bit of an evolution of consciousness, and how the practice of greater wisdom tends to shift the perception of events to further that evolution. If we were to allow ourselves to be more evolved beings in the here, in the now, and to observe the scale that we're currently in, where we see where there's a lot of conflict. What's the mentality? What's misperceived? Yeah. So you start your pickup, you start your day, you know that before you know it, there's gonna be some other rhythms around. And the sources, again, if you wish to list them, are, it could be a person or people and their behavior and their ways. So anything that has to do with people, person. Some would say, we hope that I put it there. People, okay. The next category, no specific order, okay, could be the something you want to do or want to get or have to do, and everything around it, you wanted to pay your bill and then you're about to enter your credit card and you get fucking disconnected, and then you do it again, but you only have 3 minutes and you're low battery. Okay, of course, pick up with fit. Those would be girls. The next category of things that could tend to get to us would be something in the environment, a change of weather, and they could be connected. We show up and there's less people or more people. Yeah, we'll keep it simple. Then, of course, there's our own emotions, fluctuations of emotions, and thinking, as well as physique, when they may be a little more tired, biochemistry, and so on. So we come to peace with, okay, as I'm about to do pickup, and you reinforce that, and you remind yourself that I'm a little bit of a fucking crazy. You know what I was doing today? I was taking a cold shower right on my face. And I had my hands like that against the wall, and the water was super cold coming. And I go, do you fucking understand that every single day something's gonna come? Are you gonna spend the rest of your life being like, or are you gonna say that's just how it is? I'm cool with it. I'm gonna change my relation with it by now. Number 2, to no longer try to, okay, let me talk to so and so. Let me do this to kind of put it all as one solid block. Okay, for whatever reason, I've used it as a reason to be battered. And I change my ways, my behavior, my state, and I take responsibility. The third one is to use that as a way, as a chance to grow. What if, and it makes level 1 and 2 no longer something to push away. It makes it 2 steps that you walk to own, or bars of a ladder, that finally you're elevating yourself and you go, now what was bothering me is causing me to grow. So step 3 will be to identify how it can help you, but how to identify it. Well, the eyes look on the outside. So identify it from the outside and then use that to help you correct something similar on the inside that you had maybe not seen before. That's not easy at first. And yet, when we're bothered by something on the outside, it's because there's something, it reminds us of something on the inside. So I would like to open the floor for questions. We're going to come back, summarize, refine, fine-tune. I got to be mindful of the time as well. Let me see. 7:32. Okay, very cool. You guys get those calls that say scam likely? Yogi Chris. I can hear. So this is a time when we're potentially opening the floor for questions to help crystallize this key point. I'm walking, pitch black out. Yogi Chris is coming to EC2.
I have a question, Vince.
Yeah,
It's Chris
Chris.
Delgado. Yeah, my question is anything we can do daily to increase our ability to retain audio information?
I pause for a second, and I'm telling you why I'm doing this. Because through evolution, if we really are committed to evolve, and again, I don't want to take credit, but if I'm willing to accelerate my own evolution, higher answers are now starting to be within reach. But if I just answer habitually, we may miss out on something slightly greater. So if you allow me to pause for a second, and when I come back, we'll handle this, okay? Imagine that you are a super learning machine. Everybody, let's do this. Imagine that you had been misled, mislabeled by people who didn't know better, never mind, and your learning abilities were truly, truly understated and underestimated by far. And stay with that and find a way to visit that every day, which leads us to the practical aspect of correcting something. Make sure you have constant reminders, phone, alarms, appointments, write a text yourself, leave a voicemail to yourself, send yourself a message, quickly write a quote, put it as a screensaver. So you come back to it because the first time you visit it, you go, yeah, I don't know. As you just go, okay. Like, I'll give you an example. Today, I thought, what if learning how to read lips is not any more difficult than learning how to speak? Then I stacked on top of that, how did I learn how to speak? It wasn't really me who learned how to speak. It wasn't me. Like right now would be, okay, teach me a word. Thank you. Let me try it. As an adult, I do that. But that whole phase of starting to speak, all those basic learnings, it was a force within that was registering it. So what if more is available? What if at some point we crystallize, we go, okay, they can talk, they can walk, they can, writing is, I wonder what would happen if we just left pens around and nobody was to show letters. I quickly, that we don't know. But those basic ones, what if it's the same for everything? Okay? What if you let the person pick something? So I stacked those two, and it became fairly simple to read lips. And I made a few distinctions. But as I did, a voice said, oh my God, that's crazy. And that kind of put it to an alt. So whatever you wish to change on a daily basis, you must have something that reminds you constantly. It's important, write it down, and not just one place and not just one way. And make it be your study for the time being, 2-3 days. Don't try to do it perfectly. It's a study. It's not an achievement. Then question and make those new statements. What if The only thing that's blocking my ability to learn, like a recorder, to just, I hear it, I remember it. I hear it, I know it. Or is just that I'm unaware of that. What if it was that way? What if? Stay with that. Now what's going to happen, there's going to be, it's going to trigger what has been in the way, which kind of comes back to what I wanted to state today, to talk about today. Okay? We have yet to embrace a new relationship with evolution and forward motion. Because we're under the false impression that forward motion is, I'm doing better and I feel better. Wow, and it's getting better. Oh my God. You know, that straight line. Hey, you know what? I'm fed up working for those people. I'm going to start my own company. Whoa, look at people line up outside. Oh my God, I got my new building. Whoa, this is incredible. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go do some pickup. Hey, look at those blondes over there. Hey, you guys, come home with me. Wow, I'm sleeping with 2 hot blondes. And guess what? They're coming back and they're texting me every day saying how awesome it was. I don't even need to text them. This is incredible. I love it. Oh, wow. I decided to get fit. Okay, well, I go to the gym. It's super pleasant. It feels good. Oh, my God, look at me. I look so good. And wonder. Now, we assume that's how it should work. And the moment we begin, and that's not how it works, suddenly the guys in the nightclub feeling kind of, wow, I'm not feeling it. I don't really like the crowd. What's happening with me? They're thinking, oh, something is wrong. It's supposed to be that straight line. A call from Ethiopia. Wow. Ethiopia. I'm almost tempted to pick up, but I want to stay focused. Ah, Ethiopia. Wow, you're calling me from Ethiopia. I get a lot of calls from India. FaceTime and they go, when's Kelvin? Anyway, I'm deviating. So please have a bigger frame. See, one of the key distinctions we're making today is, yes, one way is to, every time a little something comes up, to try to deal with it. Hey, that girl was not texting. Hey, this and that. Hey, that. And to try to manage that. How successful have you been? And has this been a true evolution where suddenly you go, okay, all of that is better? Or has it been that it feels a little bit better, then gets a little weird, and you forget, and then you get back to it, and then you meet a higher caliber of girl, and what you thought was no longer an issue kind of comes back a little bit, and then you don't feel like it, and then you doubt, is pickup really for me, and all of that? What if instead we know, okay, that is that is how it is. There's the sun, there's no sun, a lot of traffic. I'm not going to fight that anymore. That's how it works. From there, because I'm no longer fighting it, in that moment of resistance, instead of thinking it's pushing you back, you are going to accelerate, engage yourself more. A quick fix to tame the mind and the emotions down, which I am now exercising more than ever before, is to engage yourself more. In a nightclub, suddenly you start to feel, oh, I don't feel it, and so on. You take a breath, you smile, you go towards the bar, you open your jacket a touch, you lean against the bar, you smile and you laugh, you tell another story, you go, I haven't been downstairs yet. If you have no one there, you pick up the phone, you call someone, you go, yo, Vince, what's up? It's my friend Vince, sorry. You think I'm loud? You should hear the guy. He is fucking loud, okay? This morning I woke up, my throat was like, buying into the frame of the world. I'm cleansing. I'm exercising so much. All the yuckiness is coming out. I was about to go in hiding again. I pressed through. I walked in nature. And I noticed It's fascinating. I'm not saying do that. I'm not you and I don't know where you're at. But find the place where you press through. And then question. We're either responding. Remember how I started? We respond. Sorry. See, I'm really cleansing. We respond to a false sense of self. Catch also in your statements assumptions. Basic learning of NLP. Restate your question and together we catch the assumption. What was your question? I know it, Chris, but I would like to hear it again from you, but I know it, just so you know.
Yes. What are some things we can do to increase our ability to retain audio information?
What is presupposed there in that question? Everybody, can somebody pitch in? Do you get it, Chris? That it's not already taking place, that it's not already there. What if it's already there? What if that's in effect, but it's dependent on awareness? If we don't know that something is there, we may completely miss out on it. You're at a nightclub, a friend of yours, I'm at the nightclub too. You didn't know I was there, and we're standing in different parts of the room. There's a distance that we never accidentally covered that one night. You were there, I didn't know. If we're in the same nightclub, you know I'm there. I could say, Chris, you there? Where are you? And I could look for you. So abilities are highly dependent on awareness. Our ability depends on awareness. The challenge is that when we want greater abilities, we shut down greater abilities by asking, seeking, or asking question in a way that presupposes that it's not there. It was there all along. An exercise that helps me, I bring it back to me. Thank you, Chris. I hope that was helpful. I'm happy to reopen the conversation on that. But something that's very helpful for me, it's not new, but there's always, how are you going to do it? You know? There's a little stereotype right there. But you know how often you've heard motivational speakers go at gunpoint. What is it that you would no longer use as an excuse? How capable would you find yourself at gunpoint? Now, we hear this right now, we go, yeah, I know. And I've used that example a lot, but I heard a version of it by a voice that you have heard in movies as recognizing that's a badass, crazy gangster motherfucker that would shoot. And I heard that same question said, your loved ones are held at gunpoint. They will shoot if you don't take action right now. In pickup, your loved ones are held at gunpoint. And somehow, maybe I've heard it so much that I registered it, and I think that, you know, if you hear somebody goes, yeah, I'm Professor so-and-so, you are held at gunpoint, what will you change about your life? It's different than you hear like, oh, the voice that we've been conditioned to recognize as being like the gangster in the movie. And it really impacted me. So we need to be willing to revisit things and do them until they impact us. 2 key words for true success and continuously topping it. Okay? Impact and until. Keep it simple. Impact and until. Now we encounter the problems that we think we have are not really our problems. They are our responsibility. But they are problems because nobody ever pointed that out, which made us unaware of our true potential. And they are problems because we're mimicking everybody else who's mimicking everybody else. And that became accepted. And nobody is seeing it because nobody's really pointing it so no one can correct it. So it's time for all of us to see it so we can correct it and create a ripple effect. So emotionally, mentally, at the level of money, relationships, spirituality, we can have plenty abundantly. We don't exist under the impression that the best we've done is the best we can have. No more. It's time to really create that ripple effect for the greater good of all. So, until an impact, how often do we let that be our guide? And we just follow that only, like a torpedo on target. Imagine, think about something you've really been wanting and you want to change it. And this, one thing that used to bother me, I like to be open. I like to learn as much as I can. And I'm saying that, but you can also find me very close-minded. At least I try to recognize it a little bit more. And I need to open my mind about that more. Yesterday somebody's doing a kick-ass job at helping me with something. And I go like, yeah, I don't know about that and so on. And then I caught myself. And he's designing something beautiful. And I'm like responding like, oh, I don't know about that and so on. So, what do you really, really, really fucking want? Oh yeah, I know where I was going. Forgive me. I get excited and so much because we create all the time. So there's an abundance of it. See, right there, it's almost like all the information that's coming right now is information that's available. I'm kind of used, and you too, guys. That's why sometimes I confuse you a touch. I'm kind of used to want to, and it's not even the linear aspect, but just like a little bit. Because I'm in between. I'm opening, but I'm still experiencing the resistance of beliefs that are not totally shredded, of concerns. Then it's almost like my container is no longer big enough to contain all the information that's there. If that made any sense, but to me it made some sense. And I like the stuff that doesn't make sense because the goal begins then to make sense of it. Never be the guy who goes like, well, that didn't really make sense. No, you don't make sense. Your fucking mindset doesn't make sense. Be the guy that if it doesn't make sense of it. That if you don't understand, don't assume. The other day somebody told me, what you're saying doesn't make sense. And I said, to you. Okay? And there's always a time when maybe somebody could help me and go, yeah, indeed, let me say it differently. But right there it was just like that close-mindedness of, if I don't get it, it's because of them, it's not because of me. So, whatever you really want. Until an impact. The impact is you getting it. How much of that are you doing? How much of that am I doing? I'm becoming aware of that. I'm correcting it. The other day I was cleaning my balcony. It was windy and there were leaves. And they kind of kept on coming back. But I observed my behavior. First, I was a little reluctant to do it. Then I would do it a little bit. And my reluctance would not have me pay attention and it lowered my performance. Then when it became a touch difficult, I backed away. First few times that I had pushed the leaves already and they came back, I took the broom and I was like, now how is that helping me to clean the balcony to go, waste of time, waste of energy, and waste of brilliance because it's not intelligent to do that. Then I started to notice all the times that I was like, oh God, they. And then I said, no more. And I just went until, clean, okay? And no matter what happened, no time. I don't have time to sit down, analyze, bitch, complain. It's a waste of time. I want to cut that off. That's not what I want my life to be about. Yeah, sure, others use that model. No more. For me, I'm down. I want efficiency. I want to keep going. And if I don't know, if I'm in distress, then I seek a solution until, and I know that the goal is to reach a point of impact. I got it. What I wanted to say before is that I have tried some prayers initially, and I often heard, like, don't ask for what you want, ask for the wisdom that will allow you to get it. Oh, I dislike that. I was like, no, I want the fucking car. I want that. I want that. I want the foursome. I want this. But now I realize, those things are inevitable, okay? And greater could even come, and replaceable. You can have them again, assuming you have the proper mindset. So the change of mindset, everybody, we're all suffering, including me, but I want to see it. I ask for help to see it, to correct it. Yeah, we say we want, but how quickly do we let a little something cause us not to go until, or not to go full impact? We become discouraged very rapidly. So perhaps the muscle we need to work is resilience. But we have that resilience. We just get confused a little bit along the way. It's 7:55. All right. So check this out, everybody. I know Solomon is coming. I know Ben Todd is coming. I know Charlie is going to be watching through live stream. Christian, of course, is going to be there. And Yogi Chris is there and teaching at a beautiful venue. Talking about EC2. The best way to explain EC2. If you have heard about the 7-day training initiation that was featured on CNN and Sky TV, Alpha Camp, board breaking, desert, makeovers, really like tap into your alpha power, crazy pickup, and the GSLR, you know, the emperor of its stadium, like lights and speakers and interactive multimedia, going from a meditation to suddenly a vocal training, and you put them together, that's EC2. 25 participants, 4 days, AZD, myself, Hypnotica, Frank White, Brian Casella, Johnny Cassio, Yogi Chris, Catherine Ullman, James Hyman. People have been added, Tony Dillinger and Fly Hudson, and a couple more will be added, and I hope I didn't omit anyone from this lineup. The venues, a theater, beautiful theater where Rush learned from his mentor. We're going to be able to do a lot of improvisation, communication, interactions, and so on. A penthouse, Brian Casella's mansion. If you haven't been, you got to go. You enter. It's very enriching. Liberate, the newest, hottest spiritual spot in Hollywood that took over what used to be a recording studio, and not any recording studio. All the best albums of Prince, Michael Jackson, and a lot of the music of Jim Morrison were recorded there. They decided to preserve the space and work with the energy. So it's quite magical. And Tony Dillinger on the set, he will be preparing a shoot, and we'll get to observe it. And all of that is enrichment. For those coming, it's an adventure. Some of the activities will be a movie premiere. You're going to get to see the movie that has also featured Rush and me, a fashion show, and the list goes on and on, board breaking. And basically, I will do a special recording during the next couple of days to explain, for those who are open-minded, the mindset behind it, what the effect that's desired and created in creating an event like that, so you guys coming can best benefit, okay? So far, if you're an insider and you really cannot make it in person, we have started to offer the streaming option, but it's kind of by demand. Contact me. The general public will wait, and we're going to boost the price of the streaming and recording. If you are an insider, talk to me. Meanwhile, to read more about it and to see also all the bonuses. And one of the newly added bonus at that price is the entire hypnotic collection. It was talking about the 25 trances. So please copy that link if you want to be there, and you'll read all about it. Time was, where are we? Wow, right on time. Well, that wraps it up for tonight. Please copy the link. Thank you, Chris Delgado. And we'll continue tomorrow night. Tomorrow I'm on a radio show tomorrow. Really, really good one. LA Talk Radio with a really famous, notorious adult film star. So members of Aphrodite Sprint, stay posted because there will be a slight change of schedule tomorrow. In the meantime, that's all for tonight.